So why would I go to Disney World with a baby who is too young to remember? I will let you know. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah. If we haven't met already, I am a nationally certified personal trainer and nutrition specialist at fitstyled.com, which is my app and website where I train my clients. I'm also the author of the cookbook, Cooking Without a Kitchen, as well as the ebook 12-week workout plan that is completely flexible called Fit in 20 Minutes on Amazon. And on this channel, I love to make videos that can make your life a little bit easier whether you're a mom or not. So I cover a lot of topics for busy people who want to know easier ways to make their life a little better, whether it's related to cooking, cleaning, travel, organization, lifestyle changes. Those are the things that I focus on here. And so if you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you. You just hit that little red subscribe button down below, and then you won't miss out on future videos. There's also a bell notification that you can hit so you can be notified when new videos are posted. So why would I do Disney with a baby that is too young to remember? I will be letting you know the answer to that, as well as how to save money, how to nurse at Disney World, some parent tips for Disney World, which rides to ride, and much more. So make sure that you stick around to the end of the video. All right, so let's get into it. We went to Disney World when my son was 3 months, turning 4 months old. We did 2 days in the parks, and then we did the rest of the week at the Disney Vero Beach Resort, which is a couple hours south of Orlando. And honestly, guys, it is like a well-kept secret. It is a calm escape from Disney while still having Disney. But we are talking about the parks today. So let me tell you what I really liked about going to Disney with a little one who really won't remember. Number one, even if they don't remember, you will. It's a really special memory with your kid or kids, so even if they don't recall a single moment of it, you'll remember it for the rest of your life, and that's really special, especially if you're a really big Disney fan like I am. Two is that it is a change of scenery, and sometimes people say that when you travel with a baby, it's just parenting in a different location, and they're not wrong, but that change of scenery was vital to me after just being technically housebound-ish for about 3 months, and there were a lot of opportunities where on vacation I didn't have to cook or clean. So it just not only was a change of scenery, but it was a change in responsibilities in some way. I mean, of course, you are still parenting with a different view, but there are a lot of other things that you don't necessarily have to do. Like if you're going to go out to a restaurant or something like that, then you just have one less thing on your to-do list. 3, I think traveling with a baby that young is actually easier than when they're toddlers because they're sleeping all the time. They are either breastfed or bottle fed, so either way, you don't have to mess with any other food, not even pouches, and pajamas are acceptable everywhere they go. He slept so much at this age that it was a really peaceful vacation for us because he slept on the plane, he slept around the parks, whether he was in the stroller or the baby carrier, so it was really a very nice break in a way for me and my husband. Number 4, and I think this is the biggest reason to take your kids to Disney World when they're so young, is that everyone is a parent, so they understand. If your kid starts having a meltdown, it is a song they have heard before. We were in a restaurant in Epcot in Italy, and we were sitting next to this family. Our baby started crying, and I kind of looked over to the other table and just kind of apologized a little bit for the noise. And they were like, we don't even hear it. It's so far past us. We're so used to it. We just don't even notice. That was our first time traveling with a baby, so we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how things were going to go. But being surrounded by a majority of people who did understand what it's like to travel with kids, they were also, I don't know, just accommodating and nice about everything. It was just very, very reassuring to be surrounded by people who understand the situation that you're in. It's not like you're at a resort where everyone is giving you funny looks because you brought a child. And the same is true, I think, for flying to Orlando, because so many people who are flying to Orlando are either going to Disney or Universal or just have kids in general. So I actually even really enjoyed the flight because there were so many other kids that I knew people would understand if our baby started crying or anything like that. 5, they really take care of you at Disney. They're very family focused. If you're nursing, they have nursing rooms all over the park. Of course, you can nurse anywhere, but if you did want a room designated for nursing, they have those, and I will get into that in a minute. 6 is that the food is really good, like really, really good. Each morning while in Disney World, we actually ordered room service to our room so that we could be eating breakfast while I nursed my son in the morning, which really just saved us a lot of time rather than going to a restaurant. So that is a tip that I did want to share in case you are going to be in a similar scenario. But if you want to save money on food, check out my link below to my cookbook, Cooking Without a Kitchen, on Amazon, because it has a lot of recipes that you can use in hotel rooms, even if it's just a microwave and a mini fridge, which most rooms have. Ours did, and we had a very normal room. We didn't have a kitchen within the room. It's in paperback and ebook, but I would actually recommend the ebook because then it can just be on your phone. It's one less thing you have to pack. Next tips are about nursing. You may want to map out where the nursing rooms are, and I am going to provide that information down below. I did this and I kept a list on my phone, I kept the map on my phone so I would know where they were at all times, but I never actually used the nursing room. So I can't speak to how they are, but reading about the descriptions sounded lovely because they had a place for you that was quiet, a rocking chair to use, but you could also, if you forgot anything like diapers or milk or anything like that, they would have it there. I ended up just nursing him wherever. We were actually walking around Epcot one day, we stopped in Germany, and there was not really a place for me to nurse him inside this little store we went to, and we were still waiting for a table for lunch. So I asked if I could just pull one of the chairs from the shop out into the little courtyard we were waiting in, and I just did that, and then I was sitting right underneath a fan in the shade, and then I could nurse him. We were there in May, by the way, so it was very hot, so finding shade was important. If you're bringing stored breast milk with you, or you just need cold liquid to mix with formula later, well, with the formula you could just go to any restaurant and ask for water, of course, but if you do have milk with you and you want to keep it cold or anything like that, you can just use a cooler and put it in your diaper bag. A lot of diaper bags come with insulated containers, but if you don't have an insulated container, I will find one and link it below for you. Next tips have to do with sleeping. Whether you're in a Disney resort or staying off property, you can ask the hotel for a crib. You can certainly do that at Disney resorts. If you're staying at a non-Disney hotel, you can still probably do that. I've never been to a hotel that didn't have cribs. Sometimes they say first come, first serve, or we'll put in a note in your reservation that you'll get one, but otherwise it really shouldn't be too much of an issue. As far as his naps, we took our baby back to the room to put him to sleep maybe a couple times, but otherwise he just napped in the stroller as well as the Ergo Baby, which is the baby carrier I have, but whichever one you use, I'm sure they'll nap in that as well. One thing we did for stroller naps was we bought this thing called a snooze shade on Amazon. So we put that on the stroller, and it was a dark panel where you could kind of look into the middle and check on them. Excuse my cat. And we would put a stroller fan in the stroller and then close that snooze shade, because the snooze shade honestly kind of made the stroller pretty hot. I mean, it is dark fabric. It says it's breathable, but we think it was much better if we put the stroller fan in first. And if they are going to be sleeping in the baby carrier that you're wearing, just make sure you have a hat or something so that they protect their heads, just because it's Florida, it's hot, it's sunny. Quick tip about getting from the airport to the park, or at least to a Disney resort. If you are staying at a Disney resort, you can take a free shuttle there from the Orlando airport. It is called the Magical Express. Next are some tips on getting around. So we talked about having a baby carrier and a stroller. I think both of those were very convenient to have. We used both every single day. I will say that if you are bringing a stroller, make it noticeable. We have a very common stroller, but we made it blue. That ended up being a great decision, because when you have to park it to go on a ride, or if you're going into a restaurant and you can't bring the stroller in or something like that, when you go back to get it, it's just a sea of black strollers, and then you can find yours very easily. But no matter what color it is, and even if you do have a different color, I would still recommend taking it a step further and tying some ribbon to it or something. That way you can easily find it. You can also rent a stroller. It's not something that we did, but I know that it is an option. This is a really big tip. The trains and the monorails and the boats go in different directions. So depending on where you're going in the park, you want to take one of those forms of transportation to save time. Many of the hotels at Disney World are on the monorail circuit. So the monorail is going one way, the boats are going another. So for example, we stayed at the Grand Floridian and we wanted to go to the Magic Kingdom. So if that's what you are going to do, you want to take the monorail to the park and take the boat back. That'll save you the most amount of time. Otherwise, you have to go backwards on the circuit and stop at all the other hotels and drop people off on the way back to your hotel and vice versa. I will also mention, if you're taking that free shuttle from the airport to the resorts, the Grand Floridian is going to be your last stop. So just FYI.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have our last stop on the bus. We are now at the Grand Floridian.
Everyone, please welcome Roly Poly. He is going to be joining us for the foreseeable future. Some quick tips about comfort. We talked about having that snooze shade for when they're napping, having a hat if they are in the ergo or whatever baby carrier you're using. But I do want to point out, make sure you have some water with you, have some snacks, especially if you're nursing, have sunscreen, have extra diapers. If you run out of diapers, you can go to those nursing rooms. They do cost money, but at least you have an option if you run out. Definitely have a stroller fan. That was a big must for us. And have some changes of clothes for potentially all of you. Blowouts happen, spit up happens, and they can transfer onto your clothes, of course, as well. Next are tips on rides. My first tip would be to get a fast pass so that you're not waiting in line as long. That's something you don't want to do anyway, but especially if you have a baby. I would get the park hopper tickets. They are a little more money, but I think that it makes a lot of sense if you do like us. We were only there for 2 days, so if you want to see a lot while you're there, you don't have to buy tickets every single day, and then you can just hit up all the places you want to see in the least amount of time. We were actually given the tip when we were checking into the hotel to not even go to Animal Kingdom that weekend because the Avatar ride was opening, so it was going to be crazy packed, and they said that it was so hot outside, even though it was late May, that the sun was just shooting down on all of the sand and making it extra hot, and it would just like fry the baby. So we didn't do Animal Kingdom at all, but we did do Magic Kingdom a couple times as well as Epcot. As far as what rides your baby can go on, they can go on anything that doesn't have a height limit. You'll be surprised at how many things don't have height restrictions. Honestly, we did so much walking around that we only went on 2 real rides, and those were Dumbo and Pirates of the Caribbean, and my son slept on the Pirates ride the entire time. It was dark and cavernous, and yeah, he went right to sleep. We also climbed the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse, which was really fun. I just wore him in the baby carrier, and it was a good workout as well. This next tip isn't so much a ride as it is an attraction, but if you are in Epcot, there's a thing called a wine passport. There are 3 countries that partake in this little adventure. They are Germany, France, and one other, and Italy. And if you buy a wine passport for, I believe, $30, you can go to each of those countries and get 2 tastings of wine. My husband and I actually just split one and each just took these little sips of each other's drinks at all 3 countries, and it was really fun. And that segues into some tips about food. We talked a little bit about room service already, but it is something I would recommend unless you have something really special planned, like a character breakfast, because it saves a lot of time and hassle. You don't have to make any reservations. I would nurse my son as I kind of ate my breakfast. My husband would eat his breakfast while I nursed, and then we'd switch. So I'd finish my breakfast while he got my son ready. If you are going to a restaurant, definitely make a reservation. To avoid spending extra money on food, you can pack snacks, you can cook in the microwave, and like I said, I have a cookbook all about how to do that down below. You could also get a room with a kitchenette, which is upfront more expensive, but if you are going to be there for a long time, it is pretty economical then to have a kitchen, and you're saving a ton on restaurants. To save money even further, you can take that free shuttle from the airport, and you can also stay off property. There are a lot of hotels nearby. You can certainly stay at any of those, and you can do some days without even going to the park. There's so much to do even if you don't pay admission to get into the park on those days. If you're staying at a resort, you can go to that resort's pool all day. You can just explore around you. There's so much to do. I have a lot of memories as a child myself doing that, where we didn't go to a park and we weren't upset at all. We could do so many other activities without paying all the extra money on tickets. So once we left the park, like I said, we went to Disney Vero Beach Resort, which was wonderful. We spent, 5 days there. We did walks on the beach. We hung out in the pool. It was great. Like I said, your baby is mostly sleeping at this age, so I could just hold him in the pool for hours in the shade, and It was so relaxing. And the customer service is out of this world. It is so wonderful. And since this trip, we've been to another Disney resort. We went to Aulani in Hawaii. So let me know if you would like a review on that as well. I can certainly compare taking a baby to a Disney resort like we did on this trip, and comparing taking a toddler to a Disney resort like we did in Hawaii. Also, while we didn't take advantage of the babysitting services, there are babysitting services. They offer them at the Disney resorts as well as the resorts that aren't at the parks, like the Vero Beach Resort, for example. Even though we didn't take advantage of it ourselves, we would trust it just because they are background checked and vouched for by Disney. So just something to keep in mind in case you and your spouse want to go out to dinner or just have a little bit of time alone. So those are my best tips on traveling to Disney World with a baby. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share with your friends. I have a lot of other travel videos in the works with and without kids, so make sure that you've hit that red subscribe button so you don't miss out on those videos. Also, be sure to let me know in the comments if you want any other videos related to travel, whether it's experience in certain places, how to travel on a plane, cruise, whatever, with a baby, with a toddler, how to get through the airport with them, or anything like that. And please let me know in the comments if you want any reviews on Disney Aulani's resort or any other travel topics like how to fly with a baby, how to fly with a toddler, how to get through the airport with them, hotels, what do you do when you're all sharing the same room, any traveling questions with or without kids. Traveling is something that my husband and I have done pretty extensively, both with and without kids. So it's something we're really passionate about, and I would love to answer your questions. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.